Once upon a time, there were 4 heroes who wished to go on an epic quest. Their names were Julius, Adelmar, Roxana, and Stephen. Together, they would embark on a quest to redeem the infinite Breadstick. But to retrieve this Breadstick, they would have to climb the Spaghetti Mountain and fight the giant Meatball Yeti. But little did they know the monster could only be defeated with the mystical microwaves. Their first quest was the most difficult. To power these mystical microwaves, they needed to retrieve the Death Blossom flower from the deep Siberian forests. Little did they know the danger that was awaiting them in the Siberian forest of dank Mimia. It was a great, ugly, grotesque internet troll. It was this troll that guarded the dreaded flower, and it was this troll they would have to outmatch in order to fulfill their quest and achieve their destiny. After Googling, the heroes discovered that the grotesque troll could be distracted by the scent of rotting flesh and dung placed at intervals on a path leading progressively away from the site of the death flower they were seeking. So that's what they did. Disgusting, but effective. While the internet troll meandered after the trail of scents, eagerly hoping to find food, his would-be meal continued deeper into dank Mimia, where the foliage above them became increasingly dense and the sunlight just as sparse. The heroes stopped for the night at an inn on the side of Interstate 95. No one got any sleep that night, save for Adelmar, whose snoring kept the other 3 up. Around 3 a.m., Stephen suggested they plan their next move, but no one else wanted to think about the plot. So instead, they played Go Fish until Adelmar awoke and they continued on. That afternoon, they stopped at a Chick-fil-A to get lunch, but they found out it was Sunday, so they caught and ate a wild bear instead. However, unbeknownst to them at the time, Stephen was lethally allergic to bear, so their journey was halted by a trip to the emergency room. There, Stephen fell in love with a nurse, whom he married, so he decided not to continue with the others on their quest. Eventually, the trio located the Death Blossom flower, but the Meatball Yeti had heard of their quest and had sent his fettuccine minions to guard the flower. However, UPS delivered the fettuccine minions to the wrong address, so when the heroes got to the flower, it was completely unguarded. After retrieving the flower, the heroes returned to a nearby town to celebrate at a bar, but instead, they were arrested and incarcerated for picking an endangered species of flower. After being thrown into jail, they met a familiar face. Their jail guard was Stephen. Apparently, his marriage did not work out. He found out that during his time in the hospital, while he was asleep, his nurse wife cut out both of his kidneys and sold them on the black market so she could buy a replacement dishwasher. Times were tough, and he had forgotten his wallet back in the Interstate 95 inn, so he got stuck with the lousy jail guard job. However, now he could finally be useful, and he broke his hero friends out of jail. However, after they escaped, they realized the Death Blossom flower, never confiscated for some reason, had wilted in Adelmar's pocket and was no longer usable. And thus, it was agreed upon by all who had gathered there that everything up to this point was utterly meaningless and, furthermore, that this hopeless state of affairs was unlikely to improve. The party disbanded. The end.